Spooky dust. It's 11:50 at night. It's raining heavily outside. Like the sky is about to drown the city today. At the crazy pizza shop. Silence falls. The faint sound of the oven cooling is heard. Rohan zips up his raincoat. Music. He pulls over and grabs his helmet. He's about to finish his shift and head home. Just then, a bright light comes from the tablet on the counter. The ringing sound resonates. The manager looks at the screen. His face slowly turns pale. The manager hesitantly says, "Rohan, this is one last order." Rohan tries to put his helmet back on. The manager refuses, saying, "Sir, it's almost 12 o'clock. Look, it's raining, there won't be any deliveries." Music. The manager is silent for a few seconds. Lasts. Then he lowers his voice and offers a temptation. The manager says the tip is 500 rupees. Rohan is a prepaid owner. Just drop him off. Rohan pauses for a moment. 500 rupees covers his entire day's fuel expenses and other expenses. He takes a deep breath and finally says, "It's okay, what's the location?" The manager takes out a slip of paper and hands it to him. Rohan reads it. The next moment, his eyes widen. A strange figure emerges at the location is listed as Motidam Crematorium, Gate No. 2 under the old banyan tree. Rohan raises his voice and says, "Sir, the picture in the crematorium is definitely Frank?" The manager shrugs and says nonchalantly, "The money's already arrived. I'll just leave you at the gate." "It's supposed to be. It's probably the watchman." Rohan says nothing. He puts the pizza box in the thermal bag. Rohan starts his bike. The engine's rumble drowns out the rain. Raindrops hammer against his helmet's visor. The city streets are deserted. The streetlights cast a dim yellow light, casting strange shadows on the streets. Rohan slowly makes his way out of town. As he turns onto the road leading to the crematorium, the surroundings become increasingly silent. Buildings are now replaced by bushes and deserted areas. Ruins are visible. There are no streetlights on this route, only bike lanes. The headlights pierce the darkness. Suddenly, Rohan feels the bike become heavier. His heart races. He feels. It's as if someone is sitting in the back seat. He looks in the mirror and sees nothing. Just pitch blackness. Rohan mutters to himself. Why did I feel like someone was sitting behind me? Maybe it was just my imagination. Rohan doesn't take his eyes off the mirror for a few seconds. The back seat appears empty. He takes a deep breath and tries to reason with himself. It's nothing. My mind is playing tricks on me. He twists the accelerator a little more. The bike moves forward, but his mind remains stuck in the back. The air suddenly turns cold. The rain is now easing, but the silence seems heavier. Rohan glances at his watch. It's 12 o'clock at night. Rohan's fear was at its peak. He swallowed his breath, his heart pounding. His hands were shaking. Something was in front of him. A large, rusty iron gate slowly emerges in the distance. A broken board hangs above the gate. Motidam Crematorium Gate. It's half open. It creaks and shakes when the wind blows. The sound of the wind reaches Rohan's soul. Rohan slows down and stops in front of the gate. There's a strange silence all around. Not a single person, not a single animal. There's only the wind and the rustling of trees. Rohan is so scared he can't even get on his bike. He calls out from a distance. "Hello, is anyone there? Is pizza delivery here?" His voice echoes deep within the crematorium and then suddenly fades away. No response. Doesn't come. Rohan furrows his brows. His heart was pounding. His hands were shaking slightly. He took his phone from his pocket and called the customer. Calls. Rohan looks at the screen. The call is connecting. But the next moment, a shiver runs down his spine. The ringing sound isn't coming from a phone, it's coming from inside the crematorium. The sound is coming from the direction of Gate 2. Rohan's heart starts pounding. His mind tells him to wait outside the gate. Leave the pizza here and leave. But his feet remain planted on the bike. He unconsciously. The bike drives through the gate music. The atmosphere inside suddenly changes. The air feels as cold as ice, wet mud, and the smell of a crematorium fills Rohan's nose. The bike's headlights barely reach the front. She's leading the way. Rohan slowly walks ahead. In the headlights, he sees several. The graves are visible. He continues on, avoiding eye contact. About 100 meters in, he sees a huge banyan tree. The tree emerges from the darkness. Its roots snake across the ground, and beneath it lies an old bench. A man sits on the bench. He remains completely still, unmoving even in the pouring rain. He holds a mobile phone in his hand. The phone rings continuously. Rohan's breath catches. He stops the bike. But he doesn't turn off the engine. His hands grip the steering wheel tightly. Rohan stares at the man for a few seconds. Rain is dripping on his helmet. The man sits absolutely still, as if he's unfazed by the rain. The phone in his hand rings incessantly. Rohan musters his courage and leans forward a little from the bike. His voice trembles and he says, "Sir." Your baseman slowly raises his head. His face is extremely pale. His eyes are deep. It's as if she's not sleepy, only full of anticipation. She whispers in a dry, rustling voice. Says, "You're here." Rohan immediately opens the thermal bag and takes out the pizza box. He takes it out. He hands over the box and says, "Sir, your order." The man extends his hand. Fingers touch the pizza box. Rohan's fingers accidentally brush against his hand. At that moment, Rohan's entire body shivers. A jolt of electricity runs through me. That cold isn't ordinary cold. It's the cold of death. The man says softly, holding the box. "Won't you wait?" Rohan takes a step back and quickly says, "No sir, it's very late, I'm leaving." The man opens the box. The warm scent of the pinja momentarily overpowers the stench of the crematorium. The man takes a slice of pinja. He picks it up and without looking at Rohan says softly, "Today is my anniversary." Rohan swallows and asks with fear, "What about your marriage?" "It's their wedding anniversary." A faint smile forms on the man's lips. He looks up at Rohan and says, "No, I'm not going to die." It's the anniversary. Rohan's mind goes numb for a moment. His body goes numb. Goes by. Instead of taking the pizza slice to his mouth, the man places it on the ground. The next moment, the slice is rotting. It seems. The cheese turns black. Mold grows on the bread. That fresh pizza looks weak-souled. Rohan's eyes widen with fear. Spreads from the man offers the rotten piece to Rohan and says, "Will you eat it?" Rohan doesn't think for a second. He immediately turns the accelerator all the way to the full. The bike jerks forward. The tires squeal. A slip occurs, but Rohan manages to balance. A screeching sound comes from behind, followed by a deep, painful cry. The sound echoes through the air. It pierces Rohan's ears, sending shivers down his spine. He manages to somehow get out of the gate. The car races towards. He rides his bike onto the main road. The strong wind tries to bring him back to his senses, but his vision is blurred. The same rotting cage and that pale face looming before him. He couldn't understand. What should he do? His throat was dry with fear. Rohan's bike raced down main road. The strong wind and the pouring rain lashed his face. Is hitting. His heart is pounding. Just then, his phone rings. Rohan stops the bike. His hands trembling, he answers the call. Hello. The manager's voice is nervous. Fear is evident in every word. Where are you? Don't go to the crematorium. No, come back soon. And then the call is disconnected. Rohan calls back. The phone rings. The number you're trying to call is not reachable. Rohan stumbles back onto the road. The only sound is the pounding rain, the howling wind, and his own voice. The beat is resonating. Rohan mutters to himself, I should get back to the shop. The manager looks quite worried. Something seems off. Rohan turns the bike and heads for the shop. It's 1 o'clock in the night. The rain has stopped now. But a strange haze has settled over the city. Rohan's bike stops in front of a shop. The shop's lights are on. Inside, through the glass door. It was already light. Rohan breathed a sigh of relief. Well, sir is still at the shop, he said. He faltered and got off his bike. His legs were still shaking. He pushed the door open. Sir, manager, where are you? Inside the shop. It was deathly quiet. The ovens were off. There was no sound. Sir, that delivery. Rohan's voice choked. He slowly walked toward the counter. The manager was not at his chair. Rohan stood behind the counter. He looked back and his blood froze. The manager was lying on the ground. He was behind the counter. He was lying face down next to the tablet on which the order had arrived. Rohan screamed, but his voice didn't come out. He was on his knees. Sat down. The manager's body went stiff. His eyes were wide open. As if he had just died, he had seen the most terrifying thing in the world. You must have seen the scene. There was no pain on their faces, only utter fear. A hand was still on the tablet screen. Rohan looked at the screen, trembling. The tablet was still on. The screen had a picture of that last. The order's delivery confirmation was displayed. The status had been updated to order delivered successfully. But right below it, a new message from a customer flashed. Reading it, Rohan realized that your heart will stop. The message said the food was delicious. But the delivery boy. I was in a hurry. Don't worry. I'm coming to leave my tip myself. Rohan jerked his head up. Outside the shop, a haze shrouded. A dark shadow stood on the street, just across from the glass door. The shadow slowly. She was heading for the door. The dark shadow standing outside had now entered the shop. As soon as she stepped inside, the room smelled of damp mud and decay. Rohan gasped. He stood at the counter. He stumbled back against the wall. His limbs were numb, and his throat was slurred. It wasn't coming out. The man came into the light. His face was covered in mud. It was stained with. His clothes were torn in places, as if he had just emerged from a grave. Rohan mustered all his strength and asked, stammering, "Tell me, who are you?" The man stopped. He looked at Rohan with his swollen, red eyes. There was more than just anger in his gaze. There was an old. The pain was intense. He took another step forward and said in a strange voice, "Have you forgotten? What did you do to me, your manager?" Rohan's mind was spinning. He couldn't understand anything. Which manager? What did you do? It was his heart was pounding so hard he could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. The man was now very close to Rohan. So close that Rohan could feel his cool breath. The man said softly, "You guys buried me just because of a pizza." See next episode. The buried truth is coming soon. If you enjoyed this story, please like, do it and subscribe to the channel to see more such stories.